My name is Teal Kafad. I'm the Saratoga wildlife biologist with Wyoming Game and Fish Department, and I will be covering the proposed 2023 hunting seasons for the Saratoga Biologist District. Here's the order in which I'll present proposed 2023 hunting seasons. First, I'll cover pronghorn hunt areas 50, 51, and 52. Next, I'll cover deer hunt areas 70, 78, 79, 80, and 81. I'll cover elk hunt areas 12, 13, 15, 16, 110, and 125. Next, I'll cover moose hunt areas 38, 41, and 45. And last, I'll cover bighorn sheep hunt areas 21 and 26. I wanted to briefly describe our season setting process. The first step in season setting is data collection. The type of data collection that we perform really depends on the big game herd and the objective for that herd. For many of our herds in the Saratoga district, we are collecting composition information. This is usually done through aerial or ground surveys that are driven or flown pre or post hunting season. From these surveys, we get age and sex ratios for our herd. These age and sex ratios help inform our population models, and ultimately we use our population models to derive a population estimate for a given big game herd. For some of our herds in the Saratoga district, we also fly trend count surveys. These surveys are usually flown midwinter, so January through March, and the goal of these surveys is to establish a minimum count of animals within that herd and within a consistent flight pattern. At the end of each hunting season, we also evaluate several hunter metrics such as hunter satisfaction, hunter success, and these metrics are really based off of the results from our hunter surveys and hunter comments. Next, as we analyze that data, we develop our season proposals for the following year. And those season proposals go through regional review. This is an opportunity for our biologists, game wardens, all those game and fish folks locally to evaluate the seasons, have input into what those season proposals should look like. The next step is public scoping. This is usually informal constituent meetings that could include landowner meetings or other stakeholder type meetings leading up to further refining our season proposals. Next, our season proposals go through department review. This is an opportunity for our department administration to review our seasons and make sure that they align with any statewide objectives. Next, which is the step that we are in now, our seasons go through the public information gathering step. So this is when we're holding our public meetings. The public has an opportunity to review and comment on our season proposals. The next step is regional and department review and analysis of the public comment that we received on proposals. This is really an opportunity for us to incorporate changes into our proposals based on public comment. The final step is the Game and Fish Commission meeting. The Game and Fish Commission meeting will be happening April 17th through the 18th in Casper this year. And ultimately, the Game and Fish Commission has the authority to either modify or approve our seasons as presented. These will be the 2023 hunting season proposals for the Saratoga district pronghorn herds. The Elk Mountain Pronghorn herd unit is comprised of hunt area 50. The post-hunting season population objective for the Elk Mountain Pronghorn herd unit is 5,000 pronghorn. This is also a recreational management strategy herd, which means we are managing for 30 to 59 bucks per 100 does. The 2022 postseason population estimate, as you can see on the figure on the left, was 6,100 pronghorn, which was above the population objective of 5,000 animals. The 2022 preseason fawn ratio was 47 fawns per 100 does, which is slightly higher than the 5-year average of 46 fawns per 100 does. The low fawn ratios that we have observed in this herd unit over the last several years has indicated low productivity. The preseason buck ratio was 46 bucks per 100 does, which is the same as the 5-year average. This buck ratio is also within the recreational management strategy parameters. In 2022, during our preseason classifications, we also observed that the yearling buck ratio was 18 yearling bucks per 100 does, which indicated good recruitment. The last line transect survey that was conducted in this herd unit was in 2018. Line transect surveys are intensive aerial surveys that allow us to derive an end of biological year abundance estimate. We plan to conduct another line transect survey this spring, so that will provide us with an end of biological year 2022 abundance estimate. This will be a really great time to fly this line transect, especially what we're considering to be severe winter conditions in 2022-2023. As I just mentioned, winter conditions in 2022-2023 have been severe, with persistent snowpack through the herd unit since December. We anticipate reduced overwinter survival for all age and sex cohorts within this herd. We have to look to other nearby herds with ongoing pronghorn collar projects to get an idea of what adult doe survival might look like in this herd, since we currently don't have collars out on Elk Mountain Pronghorn. Collared medicine bow pronghorn north of this herd unit have experienced fairly high mortality rates in February and March. These mortality rates are a little less than what we had observed in 2018 and 2019. Survival over winter so far for adult does is approximately 70% in that herd unit. The Red Desert Pronghorn also has an ongoing collar project, and this herd is located to the northwest of the Elk Mountain Pronghorn herd unit. The winter conditions in the Red Desert herd have been harsher, and survival is estimated on those adult does to be approximately 58% as of early March. In 2023, we evaluated hunter metrics from the 2022 hunting season. Hunter satisfaction increased slightly in 2022. However, all other hunt metrics, including increased days to harvest and poorer hunter success, indicated that pronghorn hunting in this herd unit was more challenging in 2022 compared to previous years. For 2023, we are proposing no changes to the Type 0 and Type 1 license quotas. As mentioned previously, we expect pronghorn survival to be lower due to winter conditions. Additionally, with the low fawn ratios observed during the 2022 preseason classifications, we expect that the population will be moving closer to the objective in 2023. Maintaining the quota for Type 0 and Type 1 licenses should maximize our buck harvest opportunity and move the male harvest rate closer to 25%. We also anticipate for the 2023 hunting season that more Access Yes enrollments will improve hunter access and success. The 2023 license allocation should allow for stabilizing pronghorn numbers within the population objective range. The Big Creek Pronghorn herd unit is comprised of Hunt Area 51. The post-hunting season population objective for the Big Creek Pronghorn herd unit is 800 pronghorn. This is also a recreational management strategy herd, which means we are managing for 30 to 59 bucks per 100 does. The 2022 postseason population estimate, as you can see on the figure on the left, was 900 pronghorn, which was above the population objective of 800 animals. The 2022 preseason fawn ratio was 64 fawns per 100 does, which is higher than the 5-year average of 56 fawns per 100 does. This fawn ratio did indicate fairly good productivity in 2022. The 2022 preseason buck ratio was 63 bucks per 100 does, which is lower than the 5-year average of 68 bucks per 100 does. However, this observed buck ratio did exceed the recreational management strategy parameters. The last line transect survey that was conducted in this herd unit was in 2018. Line transect surveys are an intensive aerial survey that allow us to derive an end of biological year abundance estimate. These surveys provide important data to inform our population models. We don't have a line transect survey planned for end of biological year 2022, but we are looking to complete a line transect potentially at the end of biological year 2023. Winter conditions in 2022-2023 have been severe, with persistent snowpack throughout the herd unit since December. We do anticipate reduced overwinter survival for all age and sex cohorts within this herd. The 2022 harvest metrics, which include hunter success, hunter satisfaction, and days to harvest, indicated slightly better pronghorn hunting in 2022 compared to 2021. However, each of these hunt metrics indicated more challenging hunting conditions when compared to the years preceding 2021. For 2023, we are proposing no changes to the Type 1 license quota. As mentioned previously, we expect pronghorn survival to be lower due to winter conditions, and we expect the population to move closer to the objective due to this lower survival. Maintaining the Type 1 license quota in 2023 should maximize our buck harvest opportunity and actually move us closer to a male harvest rate that is near 25%. We're proposing to eliminate the Type 6 early firearm season on private land. This season was added to address private land damage by pronghorn. In the last several years, damage has been minimal, so this season is unnecessary. We are proposing to reduce the Type 6 license quota. Pronghorn can be difficult to access in this herd unit as they often congregate on private land during the hunting season. Limited access may be one of the reasons we have seen fewer active licensed doe fawn hunters in the previous years. Even with previous reductions in Type 6 license quotas, hunter success has remained low on this license type, so we feel like it's appropriate to reduce this license quota. The 2023 license allocation should allow for stabilizing pronghorn numbers within the population objective range. The Iron Springs Pronghorn herd unit is comprised of hunt areas 52, 56, and 108. Hunt area 52 is the hunt area that is within the Saratoga Biologist District, so that is the hunt area I will be focusing on today. The post-hunting season population objective for the Iron Springs Pronghorn herd unit is 12,000 pronghorn. This is also a recreational management strategy herd, which means we are managing for 30 to 59 bucks per 100 does. The postseason population estimate, as shown on the figure on the left, was 6,300 pronghorn, which is nearly 47% below the objective of 12,000 animals. The preseason fawn ratio was 60 fawns per 100 does, which is higher than the 5-year average of 46 fawns per 100 does. This improved fawn ratio did indicate improved productivity in 2022. The 2022 preseason buck ratio was 59 bucks per 100 does, which is higher than the 5-year average of 53 bucks per 100 does. This observed buck ratio is at the top end of the recreational management strategy parameters. Area 52 again had 18 yearling bucks per 100 does as observed in our 2022 preseason classification. As expected, the improved fawn crops in Area 52 did yield near normal yearling recruitment into 2022. Winter conditions in 2022-2023 have been quite different than 2021-2022. Winter has been severe with persistent snowpack throughout the herd unit since December. We anticipate reduced overwinter survival for all age and sex cohorts within this herd. We have to look to other nearby herds with ongoing collar projects to get an idea of what adult doe survival might look like in this herd. Collared medicine bow pronghorn north of this herd unit have experienced fairly high mortality rates in February and March, with survival being fairly close to what we observed in 2018-2019 and then 2019-2020. Survival over winter in this herd has been approximately 70% for adult does. The Red Desert Pronghorn herd unit has experienced even harsher winter conditions. Those collared animals have an estimated survival of 58% as of early March. In Hunt Area 52, the days to harvest was high for the Type 1, Type 6, and Type 7 licensed hunters in 2022. Type 2 hunters experienced the highest hunter success and had the fewest days to harvest in 2022. Buck quality did show improvement in this herd in 2022. Horn measurements were obtained from almost 10% of the reported harvest within the herd unit. Average horn length increased slightly from 11.8 inches to 12.2 inches. Improved buck quality probably contributed to the stable hunter satisfaction despite declining success across the herd unit. In 2022, we were able to conduct a line transect survey, which produced an estimate of 5,300 pronghorn at the end of biological year 2021. We were also able to compare these results with the last line transect survey results that we received in 2018. This map shows a comparison between observations made during the 2018 line transect survey and the 2022 line transect survey. So the 2018 line transect survey observations are shown in blue, and the 2022 observations are shown in red. The larger the circle, the more animals were observed at that location. These results did show a reduction in pronghorn numbers in the southwestern third of 52 in 2022 as compared to 2018, and this was likely attributed to the harsh winter conditions in 2018, 2019, and 2019, 2020. For 2023, we are proposing reductions to the Type 1 and Type 2 license quotas. Although buck ratios in Hunt Area 52 have exceeded the recreational management strategy parameters, we believe overwinter survival will be reduced in the already under-objective herd. Based on hunter success and days to harvest since 2018, it is clear that the Type 1 and Type 2 hunters have experienced more challenging hunts or have not been able to find and harvest the quality of buck that they expect in this herd unit. We are proposing to reduce the Type 6 and 7 license quotas in response to this herd being below objective. We think it is appropriate to maintain this license type at substantially reduced quota to address potential damage that may arise as pronghorn do congregate on private lands, especially in the southern portion of this herd unit. Next, I'll be covering the proposals for the 2023 hunting seasons for the Saratoga District mule deer herds. The Shirley Mountain Mule Deer Herd Unit is comprised of Hunt Area 70, and it is one of the several herd units that make up non-resident Region D. The post-hunting season population objective for the Shirley Mountain Mule Deer Herd Unit is 7,500 mule deer. This is also a recreational management strategy herd, which means we are managing for 20 to 29 bucks per 100 does. The 2022 postseason population estimate, as shown on the figure on the left, was 2,900 mule deer, which was well below the population objective of 7,500 animals. The population estimate and the long-term postseason abundance trend seems plausible. However, we may be unable to develop a more accurate population model or population estimate for this herd unit without conducting an independent abundance survey, such as a siteability survey. The postseason fawn ratio observed in 2022 was 64 fawns per 100 does, which is higher than the 5-year average of 57 fawns per 100 does. This fawn ratio did indicate improved productivity in 2022. The 2022 postseason buck ratio was 26 bucks per 100 does, which is lower than the 5-year average of 39 bucks per 100 does. The observed buck ratio was within the recreational management strategy parameters. Adult bucks were assigned to antler classes during postseason classification surveys. The total adult buck classification sample, which was 48 bucks, resulted in the following class breakdown. 68% of observed bucks were class 1s, which means that their antler spread was less than 20 inches wide. 26% were class 2 bucks, which means that their antler spread was 20 to 25 inches wide. And 6% were class 3 bucks, which means that their antler spread was greater than 26 inches wide. The 2022 harvest survey report indicated that 521 hunters harvested 219 buck mule deer in 2022 for an overall success of 42%, which was really improved from our 2021 hunter success. For 2023, we propose maintaining the 7-day general season for antlered mule deer or any white-tailed deer. We also propose keeping the non-resident Region D quota at 300 licenses. This 2023 hunting season structure should maximize hunter opportunity. This is a Tier 2 surveillance herd for CWD sampling and is scheduled to be intensely sampled for chronic wasting disease starting in 2023, with the goal of sampling 200 hunter-harvested mule deer over the next 3 years. The Platte Valley Mule Deer Herd Unit is comprised of hunt areas 78, 79, 80, and 81. The post-hunting season population objective for the Platte Valley Mule Deer Herd Unit is 16,000 mule deer. This is also a recreational management strategy herd, which means we are managing for 20 to 29 bucks per 100 does. The postseason population estimate, as shown on the figure on the left, was 14,500 mule deer, which was below the population objective of 16,000 animals. We have conducted several siteability surveys in this herd since 2001. The abundance estimates that we get from the siteability surveys have really helped inform our population model, and those estimates are shown on red on that figure to the left. In 2022, our composition abundance survey allowed us to not only collect age and sex ratios, but we were also able to get a low precision abundance estimate for this herd. And the result of that abundance estimate was approximately 14,100 mule deer. The postseason fawn ratio was 76 fawns per 100 does, which is higher than the 5-year average of 64 fawns per 100 does. These fawn ratios indicate great productivity in 2022, and this is the second consecutive year that our fawn ratios have exceeded 70 fawns per 100 does in this herd unit. The 2022 postseason buck ratio was 34 bucks per 100 does, which is lower than the 5-year average of 43 bucks per 100 does. The observed buck ratio is still exceeding the recreational management strategy parameters. Adult bucks that were observed during our classifications were assigned to antler classes. The total adult buck classification sample was 90 animals, and it resulted in the following class breakdowns. 56% of observed adult bucks were class 1 bucks. This means that their antler spread was less than 20 inches. 36% were class 2 bucks, so their antler spread was 20 to 25 inches wide. And 8% were class 3 bucks, which means that their antler spread was greater than 26 inches wide. 1,048 hunters harvested 550 buck mule deer in 2022. Hunter success and satisfaction increased, while the days to harvest decreased compared to 2021, which indicated that hunters had a less difficult time finding harvestable deer during the hunting season. Even with improved hunt metrics in 2022, hunter comments, satisfaction, and effort indicated that mule deer hunting in the Platte Valley herd unit has been more challenging than it was from the years 2013 to 2018. Winter conditions in 2022-2023 have been severe, with persistent snowpack throughout the herd unit since December. We do anticipate the overwinter survival may be reduced for deer in the Platte Valley. We have a limited number of collared mule deer does that are wintering in the Platte Valley herd unit. In the Chokecherry Sierra Madre portion of the herd unit, 6 out of 26 collared mule deer does have died since January 1st. We estimate average adult doe survival to be 85% across the West, so having 77% survival in mid-March is indicating we probably are experiencing higher than average winter mortality, especially in that portion of the herd unit. Colorado collared several deer in 2021-2022 that winter in the Platte Valley. All 12 of these animals have survived as of mid-March. And several deer that were collared as part of the Sheep Mountain Mule Deer Movement Study also winter in the Platte Valley. All 7 of these deer are still alive as of mid-March. Each year I like to reflect on the harvest trends over the last 3 decades in the Platte Valley mule deer herd. 2022 marked the 10th year of limited quota hunting in the Platte Valley. The goal of limited quota was to improve the quality of deer hunt and harvest success. From this figure, you can see that the light blue line represents total hunters. From the late 1990s to the early 2000s, it was not uncommon to have 3,000 hunters afield during the deer hunting season. After going limited quota in 2013, hunter numbers have been dictated by license quotas and have remained under 1,500 hunters. The purple line represents the total deer harvest from 1993 to 2022. Harvest numbers were reduced after 2013 because license quotas were established and maintained at much lower levels. The green line represents buck harvest. Since 2013, the harvest has been focused on the male segment of the population. The blue and red line represents doe fawn harvest. There was some doe fawn license issuance in early 2000s, and since then, doe and fawn harvest in the herd unit has been minimal. In 2012, the Wyoming Game and Fish Department collaboratively developed the Platte Valley Mule Deer Plan and began to implement strategies identified to improve the quality of hunting experience in the herd unit. These strategies included changing the hunting season structure from traditional general seasons to limited quota seasons, achieving a buck harvest success rate of 40%, setting a goal of at least 20% of field-checked harvested bucks meeting an antler spread of 24 inches or more, and 60% of the harvest survey respondents replying they were satisfied or very satisfied with their hunting experience. So these are metrics that we evaluate at the end of each hunting season. In 2022, 17% of field-checked bucks, including yearlings, were greater than 24 inches in antler spread. Yearling bucks made up 10% of the field-checked bucks. 10% of the field-checked bucks, 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 10% of the field The 3-year average percentage of field-checked bucks greater than 24-inch antler spread was 17%, so not quite meeting that objective from the plan. 57% of Harvest Survey respondents were satisfied or very satisfied with their 2022 hunting experience, and the 3-year average satisfaction was 59%, so again, just below that objective in the plan. In 2022, the buck harvest success rate was 50%, and the 3-year average success was 52%, so we were exceeding that objective from the plan. For 2023, we propose maintaining the 14-day limited quota seasons for antlered mule deer or any white-tailed deer in the Platte Valley. The 2022 postseason buck and fawn ratios indicated maintaining these quotas was appropriate. We continue to monitor the quality of hunt metrics within the Platte Valley mule deer plan. However, consideration will also be given to disease prevalence and reduced carrying capacities of deer habitats in the herd unit, especially those areas that have been recently impacted by wildfire. Hunt areas in this herd unit are limited quota, but we continue to structure hunting seasons in a way that maximize recreational opportunity. In 2023, the Platte Valley will be a priority CWD sampling herd unit, which means that during the 2023 hunting season, we have the goal of collecting 200 hunter-harvested buck mule deer CWD samples. This will give us a really good idea as to what CWD prevalence in the Platte Valley mule deer herd is. Next, I'll be covering the proposals for 2023 hunting seasons for our white-tailed deer herds within the Saratoga Biologist District. For 2023, we propose increasing the Platte Valley Type 8 white-tailed deer licenses. This was proposed in order to address the increasing number of white-tailed deer across the herd unit. Additionally, we expect private land access for white-tailed deer hunters to be adequate or improve in 2023. Next, I'll be covering the 2023 hunting season proposals for our elk herds within the Saratoga Biologist District. The Shirley Mountain Elk herd is comprised of Hunt Area 16. The Shirley Mountain Elk herd has a midwinter trend count objective of 1,200 elk. This is a special management strategy herd, which means we can manage for higher bull ratios, and mature bulls are expected to make up at least 60% of the harvested bulls. In January, we flew the 2022 trend count survey and counted 1,362 elk. The 3-year average trend count was 1,545 elk, which is above the objective of 1,200 animals. The harvest survey report indicated 846 hunters harvested 471 elk in 2022, with an overall success of 55.7%. The percentage of branch antlered bulls in the harvest was 97.5%. The bull to cow ratio observed during our trend count in January was 50 bulls per 100 cows. So that means that we are meeting the special management parameters within this herd. Also, 14 bull elk teeth were submitted in 2022, and 100% of those animals were greater than 2 years old. The 2023 hunting season proposals are intended to maintain bull ratios within the special management parameters and reduce overall elk numbers in the Shirley Mountain Elk herd. Type 1 and Type 2 license success has exceeded 60% over the last 3 years. So we are proposing that both the Type 1 and Type 2 license quotas be increased in 2023. The Type 1 and Type 2 licenses in Hunt Area 16 are highly coveted licenses, and license holders expect a high-quality hunt experience. So we've been fairly conservative with our approach to increasing that license opportunity. Also, a large portion of this herd unit is unavailable to many Type 1 and Type 2 hunters due to the checkerboard land ownership pattern in limited private land access. So we keep that in mind when we are looking at our license increases in this herd unit. The Type 6 and Type 4 within 1/2 mile of irrigated land limitation was retained or is proposed to be retained to continue to address elk damage across this herd unit. The Type 7 license that's valid from December through January is also proposed to be retained to increase cow elk harvest while minimizing hunter crowding concerns during the popular Type 1 and Type 2 hunting seasons. Given the location of winter ranges that elk occupy in December and January, hunters with these Type 7 licenses will likely need private land access in order to be successful on this license type. The Snowy Range elk herd is comprised of hunt areas 8 through 12, 110, and 125. The Snowy Range elk herd has a post-hunting season population objective of 6,000 elk. This is a recreational management strategy herd. The 2022 postseason population estimate for this herd was 9,900 elk. The model that we use for this herd is considered poor and does not appear to generate a population estimate that is biologically reasonable. However, the population estimate trend over time is more plausible. The 2022 postseason bull-to-cow ratio was 32 bulls per 100 cows, and the calf-to-cow ratio was 41 calves per 100 cows, and both of these ratios exceed the 5-year averages. The harvest survey from 2022 indicated that 5,978 hunters harvested 2,342 elk in 2022. Hunter success increased compared to 2021, and days to harvest was comparable to the last 5 years. So elk hunters in the Snowies were generally successful in 2022. The 2023 hunting seasons in the Snowy Range herd are intended to provide recreational elk hunting opportunities while reducing the overall elk population toward the objective. Hunt Area 8 Type 7 license quota is proposed to be increased to address increasing elk damage concerns on private lands. The Hunt Area 9 Type 6 license limitation is proposed to be modified so that licenses will also be valid in Hunt Area 8. This is expected to increase our hunter success and improve hunter opportunity in Hunt Area 8 when and if antlerless elk are accessible for harvest. In 2023, the Hunt Area 11 Type 4 season is proposed to be lengthened to January 31st to increase hunter opportunity and hunter success. We are proposing to reduce Hunt Area 11 Type 4 licenses to address hunter crowding concerns on the National Forest in September. However, these licenses that were taken from the Type 4s were shifted to the Type 6 license quota because these Type 6 license hunters are typically more successful or have higher hunter success. The Hunt Area 11 Type 6 early season, which is the August 15th through September 30th season, that limitation is proposed to be modified to encourage hunters to harvest cows and calves on private lands. The WIC, Wildlife Habitat Management Area closure language, was removed from the Hunt Area 11 Type 1 and Type 6 license limitations, and these were the license limitations that pertain to the October 1st through January 31st season dates. The WIC WHMA has motorized vehicle closures that address the concerns with crucial winter range disturbance, so it was unnecessary that we include this in the elk license limitations. In 2023, we are proposing to remove the Hunt Area 12 Type 6 license limitation, which prohibited hunting on National Forest and Pennock Mountain Wildlife Habitat Management Area from November 15th through December 31st. Pennock Mountain WHMA will be closed to motorized vehicles on November 16th. Similarly, the National Forest has areas and routes closed to motorized vehicles after November 14th. So those crucial winter range closures are already in place, and it was unnecessary for us to include that language in our elk license limitations. The Hunt Area 110 Type 6 license limitation is proposed to be changed to allow that cow-calf hunting in the entire hunt area from October 1st through December 31st. These limitation changes should allow hunters who want to pursue elk by foot or horseback the opportunity to access more areas later in the year and will hopefully improve hunter success on those license types. In 2023, we are proposing a reduction in Hunt Area 125 Type 1 and Type 6 licenses. Hunt Area 125 is a difficult to access hunt area, and hunter success typically improves if private land access is granted. Hunt Area 125 landowners and managers have experienced an increase in hunters seeking access to private lands due to the high license quotas in this hunt area. And hunting on private land without permission was a frequent issue during 2021 and 2022 hunting seasons. Changes to agricultural practices and the timing of elk movement have really reduced the amount of private land elk damage and therefore reduced the amount of elk hunting access that has been provided on private lands over the last few years. We'll continue to evaluate alternative hunting season structures that could address changes in elk movement while avoiding continual changes to the license quotas in this hunt area. The Sierra Madre elk herd is comprised of hunt areas 13, 15, 21, 108, and 130. Hunt areas 13 and 15 are located within the Saratoga district, so those are the hunting areas that I will be focusing on today. The Sierra Madre elk herd has a midwinter trend count objective of 5,000 elk. This is also a recreational management strategy herd. The trend count result for 2022 was 4,352 elk, and the average trend count was 5,978 elk, which exceeded the objective. It should be noted, though, that due to some constraints, we were only able to fly 2 surveys over the last 3 years, so those surveys were flown in 2021 and 2022. Success for the herd was similar to 2021 with a similar number of hunters participating. Therefore, a very similar number of elk were harvested in 2022. Success was distributed a bit differently in 2022, with additional harvest coming from Hunt Area 108 due to more liberal license quotas there, and less harvest occurred in Hunt Area 13 and 15, and this was likely due to the way that elk were distributed during the hunting season. More cow elk were harvested in 2022 than any other year since 2015, and this was resulting from increased quotas in Hunt Area 108 and also a November general antlerless season that was implemented in Hunt Area 21. In 2023, we are proposing to change the Hunt Area 13 and 15 Type 6 license limitation to allow cow-calf hunting in the entire hunt area from October 1st through December 31st. This change should allow hunters who wanted to pursue elk by foot or horseback the opportunity to access more areas later in the year and should improve hunter success on those license types. So this is the same change that we implemented or are proposing to implement in Hunt Area 12 and 110. We are also proposing increases to the Type 6 and Type 7 license quotas in hunt areas 13 and 15. And this is proposed to help address over-objective elk herds and to address private land damage by elk. The Green River region has proposed an adjustment of the general antlerless and Type 6 end dates in hunt area 21, so just something to note within that table. And this is proposed to balance the general season hunters' antlerless opportunity with some perceived extra opportunity for the Type 6 hunters. And ultimately, the goal is to increase success on that Type 6 license type. Next, I'll be covering the 2023 hunting season proposals for the moose herds within the Saratoga Biologist District. The Snowy Range moose herd is comprised of hunt areas 38, 41, and 45. The Snowy Range moose herd currently has a trend count objective of 75 moose. Since biological year 2016, midwinter trend counts have been conducted to monitor moose in this herd unit. The 3-year average trend count from 2019 to 2021 was 173 moose, which exceeded the trend count objective of 75 moose. Although we have been able to detect more than 75 moose in the count blocks each year, the current midwinter trend count objective of 75 moose in the trend survey design has really done little to inform us on whether moose are increasing, stable, or declining in the herd unit. This prompted our interest in evaluating how we survey and monitor this herd. In January 2023, we flew a 20-hour composition abundance survey in lieu of the trend survey. The polygons that we flew as part of the survey are shown on the left. The goal of this new survey design was to collect composition, so age and sex ratio data, while also generating a low precision abundance estimate for the herd. During the survey, we observed 154 moose, and 116 of those moose were in our survey subunits, or those polygons that you can see on the left. The estimated number of moose based on this survey was 1,300 moose, with a credible limit of 430 moose to 2,200 moose. We believe this estimate is higher than the number of moose in this herd. However, we are optimistic that with some survey design changes on an annual composition abundance survey could provide some useful data for the newly developed Snowy Range Moose integrated population model. So we are moving towards a population model for this herd as opposed to a trend count. The calf to cow ratio observed in the composition abundance survey subunits was 29 calves per 100 cows. This is the lowest calf to cow ratio observed in the last 5 years, which may have been attributed to drought conditions across the herd unit or large-scale habitat changes such as the Mullen Creek fire. This lower calf to cow ratio did not really align with the anecdotal field observations and hunter comments that we received regarding the difficulty of finding cow moose without calves during the hunting season. During the 2022 hunting season, 53 active licensed hunters harvested a total of 51 moose, and these 51 moose were comprised of 28 bulls, 19 cows, and 4 calves. These active licensed hunters include 4 governor's tag hunters and 1 super tag hunter. Hunter success was 96.2%, and no activity was reported in Hunt Area 41 in the 2022 Harvest Survey report. The Snowy Range Moose herd unit has a reputation for producing trophy quality bulls. The 2022 bull harvest continued to be within the Wyoming Game and Fish Department's parameters for prime age bulls. And to determine whether within those parameters, we look at several things. The first metric that we evaluate is the median age of harvested bulls. In this herd, the 3-year average median age of harvested bulls was 5.3 years. And in 2022, 25 hunter harvested bull moose teeth were submitted to be aged. The second metric that we evaluate is the percentage of bulls harvested that were greater than 5 years of age. 66% of the harvested bulls over the last 3 years were greater than 5 years of age. We believe the Snowy Range Moose herd can sustain more licenses and some additional hunter opportunity. However, we would like to be able to strategically allocate those licenses across the herd unit to ensure the appropriate distribution of moose hunters. As I had mentioned previously, Hunt Area 41, which is the Sierra Madre side of this herd unit, has really been underutilized, although we have either a stable to increasing moose herd over in that side of the herd unit. In 2023, the hunt area boundaries were changed within the Snowy Range Moose herd unit. We modified the Hunt Area 38 boundary and added a new Pole Mountain hunt area, which is Hunt Area 45. The Sierra Madre hunt area, which is Hunt Area 41, that boundary remained unchanged. So in 2024, we are hoping to look at separate license quotas for each hunt area or a combination of areas. In 2023, we are proposing to keep the Type 1 and Type 4 license quotas at 25 licenses each. This license allocation is expected to maintain the population at the current objective and the age of harvested bulls within the secondary management objective ranges. The Type 1 and Type 4 licenses for 2023 will be valid in all 3 hunt areas. So those hunt areas are 38, 41, and 45. Next, I'll be covering the 2023 hunting season proposals for the Bighorn sheep herds within the Saratoga Biologist District. The Encampment River Bighorn sheep herd is comprised of Hunt Area 21. The Encampment River Bighorn sheep herd is a limited opportunity herd, which means we evaluate several metrics related to hunter success and age of rams within the herd. The first metric that we look at is the running average of hunter success, with the goal of achieving at least 75% hunter success. That has been met in this herd as the 2018 to 2022 hunter success was 100%. The 5-year running average age of harvested rams is the next metric that we look at, and we're aiming for 6 to 8 years to be the average age of harvested rams. That's also currently met in this herd as the 2018 to 2022 harvest mean age was 10 years of age. We are also looking to document the occurrence of adult rams in the population, and that's also met as we have observed more than 10 adult rams in 2022 in this herd. As you can see by the figure on the right, over the last 10 years, only 5 rams have been harvested in this herd unit. There appears to be a good supply of rams within the herd, and the majority appear to be younger. 60 plus sheep were frequently observed through summer of 2022, and more than 80 sheep were classified post-hunting season in 2022. We've conducted several capture and collar events in this herd from 2018 through 2021, and this has been part of a statewide disease assessment effort. We are also planning to use data gathered from these collared animals to analyze habitat selection, and that analysis should begin in 2023. We've also been able to track survival of adult ewes within this herd based on our collared animals. Over the last 3 years, only 2 collared animals have gone on mortality. One of those was predated by a mountain lion, and the other was disease-related mortality. In late summer and early fall of 2022, there were several observations of bighorn sheep in close proximity to bands of domestic sheep west of the Continental Divide. However, we were not able to locate these reported bighorn sheep. There does remain a high risk of commingling with domestic sheep in this area, so we continue to monitor and respond to any of those reports of bighorn sheep west of the Continental Divide. For the 2023 hunting season, we are proposing 2 any ram licenses in Hunt Area 21. 1 license will be a resident hunter, and 1 license will go to a non-resident hunter. Based on frequent observations of mature rams in the Douglas Creek, which is Hunt Area 18, in the Encampment River herd, which is Hunt Area 21, we elected to forego the traditional season structure and provide a more opportunity by allocating these separate license quotas for each hunt area. We do expect that hunters will have a high likelihood of success, and this herd will continue to meet those bighorn sheep limited opportunity management objectives that I described previously. The Ferris-Seminoe bighorn sheep herd is comprised of hunt areas 17 and 26. Hunt area 26 is within the Saratoga Biologist District, so that is the hunt area I will be focusing on. The Ferris-Seminoe bighorn sheep herd has a trend count objective of 300 sheep. The 2020 through 2022 average trend count was 316 bighorn sheep. In 2022, during our trend count survey, we observed 409 bighorn sheep. Lamb production improved from 47 lambs per 100 ewes in 2021 to 54 lambs per 100 ewes, and was still within the normal range for this herd. Lamb production was again higher in the Bennetts, so area 26, with 86 lambs per 100 ewes, as compared to area 17, which is the Ferris and Seminoe side, with 49 lambs per 100 ewes. A total of 130 rams were found during the trend count, and this was compared to 96 rams that were observed in 2021. As in 2021, 2/3 of the rams were found in the Seminoe portion of area 17. The average age of harvested rams declined from 7.4 years in 2019 to 7 years in 2020 and 6.7 years in 2021, but remained stable in 2022 at 6.6 years of age. License quotas were separated between the 2 hunt areas, so hunt areas 17 and 26 for the first time in hunting season 2022. Trend count data show that there are enough mature rams for another license increase for area 17. The combined total for the herd would be 12 any ram licenses, which is an increase of 2 over the 2022 quota. With the herd reaching objective size and lamb production and survival remaining high, harvest of ewes has become necessary. First, the healthy lamb production and survival seen in this herd is largely due to major habitat treatments in the past decade. To maintain the high productivity of this herd, bighorn sheep numbers need to be managed to maintain the range health of those habitats. Secondly, the greatest threat to this herd is the possibility of disease transfer from domestic animals outside the herd unit. To address this threat, it is necessary to keep bighorn sheep numbers at a healthy density to minimize that likelihood of bighorn sheep trying to disperse to new ranges which may harbor dangerous pathogens. A spreadsheet model of this herd suggests that an annual harvest of about 20 ewes would be adequate to stabilize herd growth. To prevent overharvest of a small proportion of the population, area 26, we are proposing only 3 type 6 ewe lamb licenses be issued in that area. We are proposing 12 licenses that would be type 6 licenses valid for all of area 17. Because of the easy access to the Seminoe Mountains, it is expected that most of these will be filled near the Seminoe Road at the eastern edge of the area. To ensure that some ewe harvest comes off of the sheep ranges on the eastern end of the Ferris Mountains, we are proposing 5 Type 7 ewe lamb licenses, which would be valid in Area 17 only in the Sand Creek drainage. Winter severity this year has become extreme with below normal temperatures, high winds, and record snowfall. High winter mortality has been documented within pronghorn and mule deer herds in the adjacent herd units, but none of the bighorn sheep with active collars for the Bennett Mountain Monitoring Study have died from winter stress. Even if winter losses are above normal this year, there should be enough bighorn sheep to support the expected ewe harvest. While a combination of the ewe harvest and above normal winter mortality could potentially reduce this herd below objective size, the high lamb production and survival seen in this herd should produce a prompt recovery. Thank you for taking the time to review the 2023 hunting season proposals for the Saratoga Biologist District. If you have any comments that you'd like to submit in regards to those proposals, you can submit those comments either online or in written form. All comments need to be submitted by March 29th at 5 p.m., and all comments that we receive will be shared with the Commission. And finally, these are all the big game herds that we covered today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via email or phone.